Anda kembali menyaksikan spesial program Tech Outlook CNBC Indonesia dan masih terhubung bersama kami co-founder Inmobi Group, Presiden and CEO Glance Piusa. So Pius, in the previous section you told us about the endless possibilities to discover and connect with the world through a lost screen. And this is very interesting to see how Glance became one of the leading content platform in the world. But before you tell us more about your plans for Glance in Indonesia next year, let's talk about artificial intelligence first. So we hear this word artificial intelligence or AI a lot, but somehow a lot of us still doesn't really get the idea. So can you give us an explanation what is artificial intelligence and how does it works?
Yeah, of course. I think AI is a very sort of misunderstood term. It has huge possibilities, but a lot of people confuse that these possibilities might end up taking away people's jobs. That's not exactly true. In the real way, AI actually is a combination of smart pattern mining software for which the benefits are far from being very, very large. And we have seen that when it is used right in the right problems, it's actually mind boggling what it has done for the world. And it's not something we talk about anymore as a forward looking thing. It is real because when the world of data scientists have utilized data in a supervised and non supervised manner and pulled through great computing platforms, big challenges have been solved. Now, whether it is the automotive space with Tesla and the self-driving cars, or it is the whole healthcare space where Google's DeepMind is really solving the 50-year-old protein folding problem. A lot of fascinating things are happening in each industry, be it education, healthcare, and of course, in the world that we are in terms of content discovery and creating internet companies. I will say the thing that is closest to my heart is what we have done on the Glance front. And you can imagine what will it mean for us to create a intent-free recommendation system in Glance, which somewhat pushes the frontier of how AI can understand what users will want on the lock screen. AI can actually recommend, personalize what we feel is beautiful and relevant for our users without them talking about it. And that's what we've done a lot here, leveraging all the patterns and signals to figure out what is the best content that Andy or Rafi could see in the glance lock screen. Of course, we'll talk about more things, but in the whole world out there, I feel that this is one of the best things that have happened, allows for complete disruption and transformation in many, many verticals. And we are doing this in our own way to reimagine how content can be discovered.
Okay, so how does Glance works using artificial intelligence?
Yeah, so Glance is a completely an AI first platform. If we have to solve the problem of content curation and discovery on the lock screen, it changes everything. Because there are big issues here we're talking about. There's a whole issue of how do you ensure you create content at such a scale where we are supposed to create almost one glance every 30 seconds, 24 by 7, 365 days a year. And that has to be, of course, relevant and clean. And that's where we have a whole AI first platform called CardPress, which is being used to generate content in a massive way for all these devices across the world. So that's the first area where Glance has used AI. The second area is the whole piece around recommendation. Ultimately, it is all about an intent-free recommendation that has to happen and trying to figure out how our users can actually like and find is relevant without them even knowing what's available out there. So that whole combination of Selalu Happening, the power of now, there's a lot of things happening around the world now. But what should Andy like versus what should Rafi like is very different. And that's a whole new ballgame that we have cracked and are really working hard on the AI front. The third area, which is a very, very important one, something I think which is very, very close to our hearts, is how do we ensure we act in a very responsible manner on the lock screen? As you can imagine, it is a piece of real estate that is so integral. I mean, I think it's a sacred piece of real estate on the device. And if it is sacred, if it is something that we are actually using, it is important for us to behave responsibly. With great power comes great responsibility, and we have to be very, very responsible about how we show what we show out there, which means our data science has to ensure that any piece of content, every piece of content is moderated by a combination of man and machine so that it is not racy, it is not fake news, it is something that our kids can see or anyone can see, and something that is absolutely premium. So that's another third area, but a very important area where users should get content that is safe, that is relevant, and that is beautiful each time. So those are the areas where we've invested on the AI front and glance, and very happy to say that it's actually working.
Okay, this is very interesting. You said that lock screen is the second part of the phone, and I think I can agree with you. Indeed, I'm sure, but we'll continue the discussion after the break, so don't go anywhere. Dan usai jeda kami akan kembali lanjutkan dialog kami bersama dengan co-founder InMobi Group dan Presiden serta CEO Glance Piusah. Tetaplah bersama kami di Tech Outlook CNBC Indonesia.